Most contractors don't fail because they're bad at their trade. They fail because they never stop thinking like a worker. When I first started roofing, my days were long and hard. I mean, I literally was the everything. The mindset of nobody can do it better than I can, so I'm just gonna do it myself. I was out there selling the jobs, I was installing the jobs, I was sending out contracts, getting them signed. Eventually, when the ball started rolling, I convinced my girlfriend to come help me and make some of the paperwork up so they can be sent out to the customers. But at the end of the day, I didn't realize I was my own bottleneck into the business until it was too late, until it broke. And I think that's what most contractors fail with today. As they start to get into the business and as they start to get busy, they want to take on everything themselves, when in reality, that's the worst thing you can do, because you're going to be the thing that prevents your business from growing. So another thing that I learned late is implementing systems. I feel like a lot of contractors don't even know what a system is. You hear that word systems just being thrown out there, but it's really arbitrary. What is a system? They don't know that a system has to do with a certain process, people, interface, and technology. Those four components make up a system, and how you lay out those four components is what's going to make your system work, and that's just not taught with you. So I feel like a lot of contractors, they get stuck because they don't have a system, or they don't even know what a system is, or even how to make a system. So implementing systems into my business really helped me out. Also, I feel like a lot of contractors get stuck because they confuse being busy with being productive. And just because you have a lot of revenue coming in, just because you're really busy every single day, doesn't necessarily mean that you're growing in the right way. You might have created a system that is actually unprofitable, and the more work you have just means the more in debt that you're going to go. So one thing that really helps me visualize where my company is at is having this master spreadsheet. So through coaching, through mentorships, I found a way to have all the data in my business right there in front of me. So whether it's from the operations side, sales side, I have a spreadsheet that shows me exactly what trajectory that we're going on. As soon as something starts to break, we can pivot like that. And that's because of the systems that I've implemented into the business. I'd say the one thing that had to change for my real growth to happen was failure. So in my early 20s, I was successful enough to have all the money that I needed to party, to live a good life, and to even buy a house. I was trying to take on too much that I can handle, and that caused my systems to break because I didn't have any systems. I got into bed with some really high valued clientele, and they owed me a lot of money, and I didn't have that money to sustain my growth. And ultimately my foundation collapsed on me, and I had to take myself off of the pedestal and go back into selling roofs for another company. So when I sold roofs for another company, that showed me and opened my eyes to the systems that a legitimate, successful company has in place. And from there on, I learned all about how to implement systems into another company. And I told myself if I ever started my own company again, it would be a lot different. And I had the opportunity to do that. And here we are today, 18 months later, and just closed in at $6 million in revenue. After a while, when you're growing your business, you realize that something has to give. I love to be there for my customers, to be on site every single day, to make sure the crews are doing what they were supposed to be doing. I also love selling. I also love handling things on the back end. But you get spread too thin when you try to handle everything, and something has to give. Your sales can go up, but maybe your customer satisfaction or production will go down, or vice versa. So that's why it's really important to not do everything yourself and to bring in outside resources and partners or employees that'll take care of the things in your business where you just can't put your attention to anymore. And that'll leave you more opportunity for growth in time to put your focus into things in the business that you should be focusing on. For me, I'm great at marketing and sales, so that's where most of my focus goes on to. But I make sure that my production is being handled by somebody that is awesome in production. And then vice versa when it comes into finances and operations as well. When I first started my day-to-day, I would sell the roofs and I'd go on site with a couple of buddies to install the roof. From there, I brought on crews that knew how to install roofs, even knew how to install roofs better than I would. So I can focus on sales. I killed it in sales, and then I brought on somebody that was a beast at sales as well, so that I could focus on marketing and then strategic planning in the business to help it scale. So now I'm not on the roofs every day. I'm not selling every day. I'm behind the computer building out more systems to sustain our growth. Because I failed before when we were just doing, $2 million in revenue, but now we're entering territory that is about to do $10 million in revenue, and it's unfamiliar territory. So all of my time and attention is needed on making sure the infrastructure can sustain our growth. So instead of being on the roof every day, I'll schedule one day to go out and do some site visits. And the same thing goes with sales. Most of my time is behind the computer, building out the systems, making sure that everybody has the right training and the right tools to make sure that they can do their job properly as well. Some of the hard truths to realize is, number one, you're most likely the bottleneck in the business, and you have to find a way to step out so it can grow. That was something that I realized really late in the game. But once I did realize that and released my need to control everything, the business actually started to grow really well. Another hard truth is staying busy doesn't mean that you're productive. A lot of times people will spend all of their time working in the business, and then they sacrifice their health, they sacrifice their family, but that ultimately is not going to help you in the business. Once you start taking care of yourself, then everything just falls in line. There is this little 8-year-old kid inside of you that needs to be satisfied. So you got to make sure that you're healthy mentally, physically, and then spiritually. And then once you take care of that, everything else just becomes that much easier. Another hard truth I would say is being a business owner doesn't mean that you're going to make a lot of money right away. I mean, seriously, you can go into sales and make a lot more money than probably your first year or two as a business owner. And if you don't do things the correct way, you might actually be losing money to your competition that has. And if you don't do things the right way, then you honestly would be better off just in sales and not as a business owner. I would say another hard truth to realize is that everything you see on social media is really flashy, and it's gonna take a lot longer, and it's gonna be a lot harder than you anticipate. I mean, think about the long days and the stressful nights times 100. Right? That's one thing that nobody ever tells you. It's going to be extremely lonely. It's going to be extremely stressful. But if you make it out of that, it's going to be worth it. So if you're a contractor and you're constantly feeling like you're hitting a ceiling or another roadblock, and you're not even sure what's breaking or how to even fix it, once you do find out that it's broken, my one piece of advice is get a mentor. Get a mentorship, go on YouTube University. There's a lot of free education out there, and find out what systems even are if you don't know. And once you do know, find out exactly what systems that you should be implementing into your business first. Then remove yourself, because you are the bottleneck, and find people that are going to align with your priorities and your vision for the company, and implement them into the company to work in the business so you can pull yourself out and continue on perfecting the business so you can gain back your time and also, most importantly, gain some profits. And my last piece of advice, get a mentor, get some type of mentorship. Again, there's a lot of free tools out there, especially with ChatGPT and all these AI platforms, but there's nothing like that real person that has went through the ringer and is where you want to be. And if you're doing, $1 to $3 million, don't get a mentor that's at $20 million. His problems are not going to align with your problems. Get one that's just a little bit ahead of you, maybe doing 10 million, maybe doing 15 million. But get one that aligns with your vision, your personality, your goals, and then go from there. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and into your business, because that will be investing into your future. If you guys want to see some more content, I'm going to be dropping a bunch of different knowledge and nuggets on how to build systems, what is a system, all the different sales processes, the marketing strategies, every single thing that I've used to build my business from 0 to 6 million in 18 months. I'm going to be dropping here. So subscribe, follow me, and I'm excited to see you on this journey as well.